Welcome to Caribbean Focus. Caribbean Focus is the community voice of the college and the Caribbean Research Center at Medgar Evers College, the weekly radio program highlighting Caribbean educational, cultural, and social affairs, airs on 91.5 FM. I am your host, Hermina Marcellin. My virtual guest today is no other than Raul Rios. Raul Rios is the organizer of Latinos New York NYC, a poet, a community activist. Welcome, Raul, to Caribbean Focus.
Hi, Amina. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this. It's an honor. It's an honor.
Thank you. May you share a little bit about yourself, where you're from?
Okay, here we go. My descendants are from Puerto Rico, and even further that, just got my ancestry DNA back. So I'm hyped because I have like 16%, if I'm pronouncing it right, Batu, Western African. So that's a whole different trip for me, in which I'm starting to explore. And like, I'm so hyped. So definitely I'm from Africa. Definitely my people are from Africa and from Puerto Rico. But born and raised in the Lower East Side, New York City, Manhattan. But I've lived just about in every borough in New York City, now in the Bronx.
You mentioned that you have more things to do as far as expanding and going on trips. Your visits to Puerto Rico, are you traveling back and forth to Puerto Rico? How are you involved?
I have. I try to go to Puerto Rico at least twice a year. One, of course, to go to the grave and pay my respects to my ancestors. And second is to definitely connect with Mother Earth, and see how I can assist out there. How can I assist my neighbor, my community? Just because I live here in the Bronx doesn't mean that I can't assist or help, or somebody else in somewhere else.
Let's delve into your role first as the producer at the Nuricans Poets Cafe. How did that journey all begin?
Seeing you on stage. I used to visit before everything started. I visited, I saw you on stage. I saw a lot of people. Nagoma, Raz, Helena D. Lewis, Nathan P. I've saw so many people. I've blessed, La Bruja, all these people, John Chance, everybody, Eric Words. But I started with an organization called Latinos NYC, and I needed for our mission and vision to get out. How better else to do it than in a poetry event?
Lovely.
And so we started doing poetry events, and we're getting out the word to the community about feeding the less fortunate in Tompkins Square Park or wherever we can, clothing them, making sure that at least they got a bed and a pillow to sleep, at least for the night. We'll worry about the next day when it comes. So this is how we started spreading the word. I got hired as a manager. Now I'm the community coordinator for them. Even though through this pandemic,
yes,
we still do a lot of virtual poetry events.
Excellent. And let us speak a little bit more about your organization, Latinos New York City. I'm sorry, Latinos NYC, and that is centered around your personal mission to make sure that the future of people, as you just mentioned, regardless of gender, culture, or race, are secure and that they never go without a meal, clothing, or a place to lay their head. Delve a little bit more about your organization. Where do you begin?
Here we go. An article was sent to me about an organization called Friends in Need in the Lower East Side in Tompkins Square Park that they fed the less fortunate every Saturday. So I volunteered. While I volunteered and started to get to know Friends in Need and the creator and the founder, my organization was already starting to be built to do the same. So Friends in Need took us under the wing, and we took over a weekend out of a month. Matter of fact, we took over the third weekend of every month, because now people who are on SSI or SNAP benefits are stretching what they have left. So to try to assist and help, we took the third Saturday of every month, and we started feeding about 200 to 250 people within an hour. We did that for a couple of years, giving them clothes. We had a connection with a foot doctor who came with his team and checked everybody's feet one weekend. So he was trying to expand to really help the less fortunate out there. And we still do it. We're just at a lower scale at the moment. This pandemic has hurt a lot of people, has hurt a lot of organizations, especially mom and pop organizations and community group organizations, but we keep our fingers crossed. We keep our faith, and we keep on trying to help everybody we can.
In helping everybody that you can, and you mentioned about the pandemic, affecting especially the small businesses, do you see some sort of revival out of all of this? Do you see some sort of change, in continuing to keep in the faith and the prayers, in continuing to help the less fortunate?
Everything right now, the revival right now is definitely social media. Lately, I've needed assistance, for the community, and I put it out there on the social media. So people start mailing stuff to me or donate to a certain link, and it goes straight to me, straight to the person that needs it, or the family that needs it, or the child that needs it. I'm just a middleman. There's a lot of people in our community. And let me say something. When I say our community, I mean the 5 boroughs. I mean all of New York. We've sent, books to North Dakota, to the Native Americans, because they need it. And they reached out. So when this community is too big, and I take that weight.
Yes.
I take that weight, and I feel the pain. I've been there. I've been homeless. No, it was my fault, but I've been there. So I know what it is to go to bed without a meal. I know what it is to see a day and you can't find your hit that you need because you're addicted. And it's just, there's a need. There's a need out there, especially with this pandemic. We just got to unite together. I think I put on Facebook this morning that the community needs to start helping themselves and stop leaning on the government. When I was a kid, my grandma used to tell me, listen, Tito, go to the backyard and get that plant, or get that other plant, and make a concoction and make a medication. Now we don't do that. We go to the pharmacy.
Right.
We need to go back to the way we was taught. We need to help our neighbor out. It's not no more cup of sugar or a glass of milk. We need to help. We need to help them out.
And your organization, as you previously mentioned, in helping the less fortunate, having the foot doctor coming in to assist, and you did mention through social media, you are spreading the word, but how has been the receipt, or somewhat people who are involved in your organization, the recipients, how has this been received by them?
They love it that there's somebody out there that cares enough to assist. I'm happy with a thank you. You know, I'm very happy with a thank you, and it's, you know, it feels warm. You know, you know some of these. Here we go. John Chance Acevedo, who you know as the poet Chance, the biggest host in New York City, New York, now in Florida.
Yes.
I got James Peach McClory, another poet. I had Willie Barr, Monica Martinez, and Liza, who runs her own not-for-profit now at night, feeding the less fortunate, called Angels of the Dark. So these people spread out. These are my board members who spread out.
Okay.
Now doing their own thing. So I'm a one-man team here in hopes that the community hears my cry for the community. Therefore, you know what, if you can't be there, give it to them, send it to me, I'll get it to them. I have no problem. I have no problem playing. Listen, I used to be the middleman to a lot of drug dealers. Why not now to my own community?
Excellent. And that passion of yours, Raul, it translates, and you became the recipient of many awards, including the humanitarian award from your Taino community for the work you continue to do throughout the community. In 2016, you were awarded Best of the Community. Congratulations on your recognition. How did you feel receiving these awards?
It's not my award. It might say my name.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people right next to me, behind me, in front of me, who dealt with my craziness and my crazy ideas. So it's our award. It's ours. It belongs to the community. I was just one being vocal about it, and people heard. And they're like, you know what? Before he gets out of hand, let's help him. Let's help him out. Let's help him out. He's doing the right thing. You know, and here I am. A lot of people want to help, but they can't. So, you know, send a donation or send a gift, and believe me, there's somebody that needs it.
Right.
I'll find that person that needs it.
And your humanitarian award and your commitment, I mean, it translates even into the work that you do. What's your current job position?
I work for I work for Promesa, aka Acacia is the motherland. Promesa is under Acacia. My title is CRA, meaning Community Residential Aid. In reality, under that title, I can say I'm a mental health specialist without the degree. Although I got a bachelor's degree, but without the mental health degree. I'm a counselor, case manager. What we try to do is keep our residents homeostasis, chemically imbalanced, with their medication, their therapy, going to their psych sessions, you know, in hopes in the long run that they can live a more fruitful, independent life, and they can live on their own.
The stars are definitely aligned for you in your line of work, in your commitment to helping the community. You know, just touching briefly again to Puerto Rico, do you think there is also a need, and where do you think that need should come from, you know, in assisting?
Does Puerto Rico need a need? Yes. They still building from Maria. They're not fully back 100%. Yeah, Puerto Rico is in dire need. Let me say dire need. Certain sections are in dire need. Where, you know what? If they can get rid of one thing or a couple other things, I would say the 1920 Jones Act. That'd be a start. how can we sell you our products, then you sell it back to us at a double rate and taxes once again? So that's a little history. Yeah, they can get rid of the Jones Act if the government wants to step in. I mean, we have a lot of all-stars that live in PR. And I mean all-stars, like Hollywood all-stars, you know, musical all-stars. I don't know, maybe they need to chip in.
And does your organization translate or connects with PR, or is that something that you're looking forward to in bridging the connection with your organization here and PR?
When Maria hit, Latinos NYC was part of a big organization called 100 Hispanic Men. We fell under their umbrella. And at that time, Jay-Z lent us one of his planes. And we loaded it up with so much water. There's so much stuff that was donated. And that was a start. I do have connections. We do have connections out there. We just need to get, you know, everything boils down to funding. Mm-hmm. You can have the heart and the inspiration and the aspiration to assist other people, but without funding, you know, it's only a plan on paper. You know, everything needs funding. Yeah. And like I said before, the community needs to start stepping up.
And even before the pandemic, of course, as you mentioned, this is where you met me at the New Rican Poets Cafe. And of course, now that we are experiencing, you know, partial lockdown and limitations to gatherings. What are your thoughts on the New Rican Poets Cafe and, you know, and its future? I mean, I know we're, you know, you, as you mentioned, doing poetry online, but the building itself and, you know, what it stands for, you know, where do you see its future?
That's a good question to ask. In my personal opinion, we hope to be open one day. We cannot solidify that day at the present moment, but the plans is to open. Yeah. I was just there about 2 weeks ago. I went inside and I took a picture. And when I went from the back and I came up right from behind to go right on stage, the microphone was there and I had to take the picture. And I felt everybody's words and everybody who, you know, who stood on that stage. Yes. I felt their presence. You know, I've been there 12 years. Of course, gentrification is everywhere. Mm-hmm. Just noticed the building right next to the New York that's being built and almost finished. We plan to open one day. We continue virtually. You know, you got Eric Words on Monday. Mm-hmm. I think you got Caridad de la Luz, aka La Bruja, on Thursdays. And then you got other independent artists and producers who are still, you got Helena D. Lewis doing her events as well, Eric Crow. There was just one, yeah. So there's a lot of independent artists agreeing with Jason Quinones, who's the GM, to bring these virtual shows. We plan to open up one day. We just can't, you know, say what day, right, because of the pandemic, you know. So please continue to support us. Please continue to support us, you know, the New York. Please, we love you, you know, we love your love. You know, we love it.
And you've had famous, you know, artists touch the stage. I recall a photo with you and Jill Scott. So...
Oh my God. Yes, Jill Scott, my favorite photo of all time. It makes some people jealous though. But yes, she was there. That day I also met Conan. Conan was there. Those other celebrities, Spike Lee was there. There's a couple of other ones, but the energy of Jill Scott just
Yeah.
drew me. And I'm like, sis, I need to take a picture with you. She's like, come on. No hesitation. Come on.
Yes.
And it's so humbling to see people like that and down to earth. Down to earth.
You know, and what you are involved in, you know, do carry vibrant energy, you know. And I too recall going to the New Rican Poet Cafe and meeting other amazing poets. This is where I met Nathan P. And you know, it does carry this energy that is much needed, because with poetry itself, and you also being a poet, you can speak on the possibilities in poems, and you know, having that space to meet and to express yourself is phenomenon within itself.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. People gave me that title, poet. I don't know. I write. It makes sense to me. I'm happy. You know, maybe if I get published one day, it'll make sense. But
Yeah.
I write about what I see, what I've lived, what I continue to do. Um, I don't know. It's a form of therapy.
Yes.
It's definitely a form of therapy, especially now through this pandemic, because I did test positive on May 6th last year with the COVID.
Yeah, sorry.
So I went through it mentally, you know, while I'm quarantined in my room, working, quarantined, and still going through this mental thing. Didn't have no type of side effects or nothing, but I just had it.
Yeah.
So writing definitely does help.
Was therapeutic. And
Very therapeutic. Very.
do you see now that, you know, as you mentioned, it continues online, do you see a shift in energy or the dynamic from being in person to an online performance?
If you're about energy, you can get energy anywhere you want. Even through this meeting we're having right now and being live on Facebook. Um, it's a difference though, when you're actually in front of that person and you vibing with them.
Mm.
And you're vibing like right now, social media, over the internet, because this is the new.
Yes.
How long are we gonna be doing this? You know, I hug my kids when I see them. I hug my grandkids when I see them. As a human, I think we need that touch once in a while. You know, that's why we're told to go out in the sun for at least 15, 20 minutes a day. That energy, to feel the warmth. I definitely miss hugging or getting hugs, especially at the New Year on a Friday night. You know how many hugs I used to get? That line was so long, unbelievable. So many hugs, so many hugs. So I miss that. I personally miss it. Energy can transcend all over. It's just up to the person who's sending it and the other person who's receiving it. And how you receive that energy that's being put out in the universe. Yeah, this is a new thing. How long is it going to last? I don't know.
In continuing this in transiting and transmitting and transcending in where energy is concerned, for those who would like to be involved in contributing to your organization or become you know, part of the organization, again, could you tell our listening and viewing audience where you can be reached?
I'm all over social media. You can find me on IG. Listen, my name is Raul Rios. It's simple, RAULRIOS. Or you can look up Latinos NYC on social media. I'm there. Excuse my rant and raves, but sometimes I have to check the community's balance.
Yeah.
you know, because at times we forget that we even really lynch ourselves at times, you know, and that was something taught back many moons ago, and yet it still happens. So I'm all over the Facebook right now. You can get me under Raul Rios, Raul K. Rios, or Latinos NYC. Um, Donations, I don't accept donations every day, but if I put something up there that I needed, you'll see the link and you can follow that, you know. Um, yeah, if there's a need or somebody calls to me and tells me, listen, Raul, somebody needs, I'll investigate a little bit, you know. Sometimes there's some flim flams out there, you know, and you got to do what you got to do. So I'll investigate and then I'll put it out in the media. And if
Lovely.
people want to help, just inbox me, let me know, and I'll let you know how to continue.
Raul, you are committed to the work that you do. Your passion speaks through. Um, I want to thank you for joining me on Caribbean Focus, just touching the surface on what you do and who you are. And I like that term, this transcending of energy, which you definitely bring. And I will again thank you for your commitment
Thank
to
you.
helping the community. And
Thank you. And Mega Everett College. Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. So thank you very much, Raw, for joining me on Caribbean Focus. I look forward to having you on again to again tell us what you're up to with your organization, and again letting the viewing and listening audience know a little bit more about the organization and continuing to be involved.
Call me. I'm there for you. I'm there. I'm
Thank
there.
you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you
Love
so much.
everybody.
Thank you. This has been Caribbean Focus. I am your host, Hermina Marcellin. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye bye. See you soon.